Hi everyone, I'm Howard Bragman, and thanks for joining us on this latest episode of Gwissues. Today we have three very prominent, intelligent people who are very opinionated, talking about does size matter. We're talking about penis size today, and joining me is Davey Wavey, the YouTube legend. We have Christian Grov, who's a public health expert from Brooklyn College, and a sex therapist and a clinical sexologist, Dawn Michael. Thanks for joining me today. Christian, I'd like to start with you really quickly, and in the broadest question possible. You're a public health expert. You study this. Does size matter?
I'd say there's two answers to that question. One is from a performance standpoint, the ability to achieve orgasm, the ability to achieve an erection. For that, size doesn't matter. But we live in a society that says that size matters. So a lot of people would tell you that, yes, size does matter for them, and bigger is better.
As a trained sexologist, sex therapist, does size matter? I know it's not a simple question, but tell me your thoughts on this topic.
Well, I definitely think that size matters for the man more so than for their partner. I have some interesting issues that go on with men and the size of their penis, and that has to do with tying into their ego. And believe it or not, there's all kinds of performance issues surrounding it. There's men that have fetishes surrounding penis size. It really does play into how they feel about themselves as a man.
And is that different in straight men and gay men? I mean, I think as a gay man we're more penis obsessed, but I'm sure straight men like their penises quite a bit too.
I think that it runs the gamut, and I did want to say one study that I saw, and they said that homosexual men have a little bit larger penises than straight men. I just thought you guys would like to know that one.
Well, I think that makes me want to turn to Davey Wavey, and do gay men have larger penises than the straight guys you're having sex with, Davey, or the ones you're seeing?
I mean, based on my research in the area, I've actually seen...
Tell us about your research, Davey.
I've actually seen that study, and it's almost an extra half-inch that gay guys get. And I'll tell you, every half-inch counts when you're trying to hit those nooks and crannies. So I'll take it. It's funny, though. It's ironic, because it's like the very instrument of masculinity is bigger in gay men than it is in straight men, which I just find unbelievable delight in that.
I imagine you do. You know, Davey, I don't know if it was intended or not, but it seems that recently some pictures of you en naturel appeared on some websites. Is that accurate?
We're really taking this conversation down a few notches. It is true.
We're up a few notches with our audience.
It is true, yes. I was a little, when they first came out, it kind of feels like a little bit of a violation of your privacy, but at the end of the day, it's a fucking penis. Half the world has one. And, I mean, I took the pictures myself, so I guess I have to take responsibility for it, and it's a penis. There's
a lot of, I don't know if gay men were just so used to seeing porn stars and think people that are so unrealistic that anything less than a dinosaur makes us unhappy, and we're going to criticize it.
You know, my friend had...
I was going to say, I have a comment on that too. As far as men, a lot of men, I don't know about gay men, but straight men don't really know what size their penis is or the average size penis. I get asked that all the time. Is my penis the normal size? So there seems to be some confusion there with men and the size of their penis.
We've actually done research on that with gay and bisexual men, and we find that a majority of the gay and bisexual men we surveyed have measured their length, but only a little over half have actually measured their circumference.
Interesting.
I would say, I mean, I just believe that most gay and bisexual men know exactly where they stand in the penis pantheon, and possibly straight guys, they may see other guys in the locker room, but other than watching porn, they're not going to see other guys erect, so they're probably not as clear about where they stand. So I think that's an interesting point.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense.
Getting back to where we started, how did you feel about the discussions? Do you think as gay men we're a little distorted about penises, that we're so used to seeing porn stars and others with extraordinary endowments, that anything that's even above normal doesn't feel huge?
The interesting part about gay men and sex is that there's, unlike a heterosexual encounter where there's only one penis, with gay men, there's two. So there's always something to compare to, and no matter what, one person's going to be bigger than the other. I
want to go back to you, Davey, and let you answer the question where I started. There was discussion about your penis. How did it feel? How's your penis feeling?
My penis feels fantastic. And I was going to say that I have a friend who says that there's two types of gay men. There's size queens and there's liars. And I feel like that pretty accurately sums it up. I actually did a survey on this on my blog, Does Size Matter? And 48% of respondents said yes. This is very scientific. 48% of respondents said yes. 43% no. 4% said they prefer smaller penises. And then another 4% said penises are gross. And that was 7,000 respondents. So, I mean, I guess the answer, like, in short, does size matter? It does matter to some people, and I think to varying degrees. I think a lot of people, it's kind of like, if a guy has a huge dick, it's kind of like the icing on the cake. It's not necessarily a deal breaker either way, but it's something to kind of take into consideration. Does that make sense?
Clearly, aren't there penises that are too large for comfortable sex?
I've never met one.
Dawn?
There can be for women, yes. I found that especially men with well-endowed, penises, they don't always perform as well with men with average-sized penises. They kind of get away with the fact that they have a large cock. So they don't have to do the stuff that a man with an average-sized cock do as far as performance goes. So sometimes it can be, they can be very cocky about it.
I think Davey Wavey found in his research 4% were turned on by small penises. So I guess there's something for everyone.
Well, I think too, if you're a gay guy and you have smaller insides and you like getting fucked, you might not want to get your ass ripped to shreds by some monster cock, every night. And a smaller penis is just going to be a little bit more comfortable. Like, theoretically, I get that. In practice, I don't know. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but like, you can understand where that perspective is coming from.
We had a very above average panel today, and it's a very interesting discussion. I invite our viewers to comment on the discussion, ask further questions below. Please subscribe to Gwist TV and Gwissues, and please look at our past episodes. I want to thank Christian Grove. I want to thank Dawn Michaels, and I want to thank Davey Wavey today for a very enlightening discussion. And I'm sure there's more penises to explore in our future. Thanks for being with us today.